Hello guys, Snap is one of the most important exams when you come to the MBA preparation, especially if the cat is not going on that well. So how to give the mocks, how many mocks to give, what should be mock strategies, kitna score aana chahiye. We'll talk about all these things. I invited. Hi everyone, today we have with us toppers from SMHRD. So all of them are Symbiosis ka topper, obviously. So I have a lot of questions to ask you, and we have a lot of students as well live here to ask you questions. So please bear with us because we're just starting with the preparation. So my first question always revolved around कि कितना mock दिया. So I'll share this fact file as well. So that's always my first question. So before we go to that, I believe Simbi is one exam where 20 लाख का पैकेज आपको मिल रहा है and the competition as compared to CAT is quite less. पब्लिक बेबी आई एम न्यू एम के पीछे भाग रहा है, उनको ये नहीं दिख रहा कि यार यहाँ पे 20-20 लाख की जॉब लग रही है. एवरेज पैकेज इन योर कॉलेज इज 22, SIBM is also 22. So coming to the point, the moment CAT is over, the problem is we get only 1 week at time for preparing for the other exam, for the FIMB exam. So we'll talk about all these things, your mock strategies, your college you have taken, your life at college, interview skills, everything. Let's start with the mocks first. How many mocks you have taken for your exam?
So if I start with my preparation journey, I gave around 20-25 mocks.
20-25.
Yes, sir.
My target is 20 mocks. Based on my topper interviews, I've been interviewing you people for the last 8-10 years now. So that's my feedback कि 20 mock तो चाहिए यार. एंड सिम्बी का मॉक इज नॉट अ मॉक, ये सेक्शनल टेस्ट देखा जाता है. 1 घंटे का पेपर है यार, कब स्टार्ट होगा कब खत्म होगा. इट विल टेक यू मोर टाइम टू रीच द सेंटर देन टू टेक द एग्जाम. सो तो दिस
Exactly.
इज, तो यू कैन गिव एज मेनी मॉक्स एज possible. So if you're going to give 2 times, so you can give the exam 3 times. So my advice will be 10 mocks before the first and 10 after that, because a lot of students give the first trial as a trial कि चल यार देख के आते हैं, उसके बाद they start the preparation. So that will be my second question. So Antriksh, how many mocks you have taken approximately?
So I took about 16 mocks, not quite the 20 figure that
60
you mentioned.
के 16?
16, 16.
16, फिर ठीक है. 60 बोलते तो टेंशन आता है.
Mine was 8 before and 8 after.
Perfect,
So
perfect.
that's how my split was. Yes.
Correct, correct. तो of course यार पहले मॉक में सीधा स्कोर नहीं आया होगा. Gradually you might have improved. So I give the cutoff to student that you have to first reach 20 marks. तो पहले में 10, 12, 15 आते आते 20 पार होगा. 20, then 30, then 40, then 45. So if you're looking for a magic number, of course the cutoff is going to change every year. They can't comment about the cutoff, depending on the level of difficulty as well, which keep on changing. But my benchmark number is 45 marks. If you want SMHRD, SIBM, 45 marks तो आपको चाहिए. Reserved category 32 approximately. SIBM Pune, SIIB and SIBM Bangalore 40, others 30, and the last 10, 25. This will be my thumb rule. Of course, depend upon the paper as well. तो आपने कितना attempt दिया था? 1 attempt, 2 attempt, 3 attempts? How many attempts you've taken?
Sir, personally, I give all the 3 attempts in Snap 2024.
Antriksh?
Same, sir. I also took 3 attempts.
3. So 2, yeah, 3, depending on how much you can afford. Depending on that, you should target that. Because Snap ka, if I look at this problem, it's not a problem. It's you can't avoid that. The level of difficulty is going to change in every slot. Last year slot 1 was सबसे tough. Last to last year slot 3 was सबसे tough. And there's no normalization is going to happen. That's going to happen. So we look at the average score of the 90 percentile plus. 30 marks, 34 marks, 37 marks. So 30 to 37 marks a gap आ जाएगा. So I can't predict which section is going to be tough, which section is going to be easy. तो अगर आप 2-3 attempt दे सकते हो, 2 तो I will always recommend कि 2 attempt तो आपको देना ही होगा. But it's your wish. You can give 2 or 3 attempts. And this is your score versus percentile, which depend upon, and we can see that 40, 45, 47. तो ये change होने वाला है. So which was your best score? If you remember, what was the score in the 3 slots?
Sir, I can't remember the score, but the attempt upon which my percentile was given was my second attempt. The best score I got was from my second attempt.
Second attempt.
Yes, sir.
Same for me as well, sir. It was my second attempt that actually gave me the score. Yes.
And do you remember if your scores were almost same? Because there was a huge gap between the score in slot 1 and slot 2, attempt 1, attempt 2.
Yes. So for me, attempt 1 was a bit shaky, right? And slot 2 was my best bet. Although when I came out of the center, I thought slot 3 was my best shot. But when the results came in, slot 2 was the best shot for me. So
तो
yes.
आपके साथ वही होगी, पहला स्लॉट होता है ट्रायल बेसिस पे, देख के आते हैं क्या होता है एंड देन वी स्टार्ट स्टडिंग इंडियन टीम की तरह पहला मैच हारेंगे टू अंडरस्टैंड क्या हो रहा है, देन दे स्टार्ट प्लेइंग बेटर, they playing good. So I have made this strategy sheet. So verbal, because there is a number of questions fixed and time is also fixed. So I believe in bringing timer into game. There's no sectional timing, but if you can put a timer, for example, verbal, there are 25, 15 questions. What was your time? अगर आपको याद हो, आपने कुछ टाइमर लेके गए थे in the mock strategy, or what was your plan on the exam day?
So for me, as we know, like SNAP is one of those examinations which teaches us time management because there is no sectional timer and no sectional cutoff. So we are the one deciding at that very same moment how much to attempt from each section. So I do not exactly remember the time, but I can remember the sections, the order of the sections in which I
Order,
used to
okay.
answer. So firstly, I used to go for the quant section, then LR, and then verbal. Reason being, in verbal, if I have like suppose 10 minutes left, I can aim for that like 15 mark or 12 to 15 mark in the section. But in maths and LR, I need to give time, and there were some areas in quants in which I was not that confident. So I needed to have like certain amount of time to solve those questions. Like if I take an example, algebra was one of the areas in which I was not that confident. So I used to give a little bit more time to algebra and then a little bit less time to the verbal section. So that was my strategy, sir.
Correct. I believe in the key strategy. गरीब बच्चा यार, क्वांट की अगर बात करोगे, एटलीस्ट 12 to 14 क्वेश्चन कैन बी सॉल्व्ड ओनली बाय ऑप्शंस इफ यू प्ले स्मार्ट, कि ये नहीं हो सकता, ये नहीं हो सकता, बच्चा ये दो, उनमें से वी कैन डू ऑल दिस क्वांट, वर्बल एंड लॉजिक स्ट्रेटजीज आर इनफ टू क्लियर द कट ऑफ एज वेल. सो अंतरिक्ष, आपको कुछ याद है क्या आपका ऑर्डर था, एंड डिड यू फॉलो द टाइमर एज वेल कि पहले ये करना है इतने टाइम के अंदर?
Yes, sir. So मेरा order is pretty easy to remember. So any exam that I give, I don't like to mess around with. So जो screen पे आ रहा है, मैं चुपचाप वो करता हूँ. Max to max, whatever I don't know, I just sort of flag it up and then I do it at last. So my order was the same, right? I did the verbal section first. थोड़ा सा I was a bit, for me, verbal used to happen well. So I used to aim in about 6 to 7 minutes, right? So that used to give me a leeway because I was not very good, at quant. While the questions that are there to deviate you, the questions that actually take up 4 or 5 minutes, you might want to skip them or you might want to recognize them and maybe perhaps try to avoid them. I wasn't very good at that. I used to delve deep into questions and then so that's why I used to get around with the verbal section quickly, and then quant used to take me time, and logical was okay. So yes.
तो वर्बल, ये मेरे काफी लोगों से बात हुई, टॉपर लोग से, दे पुट 7 minutes for verbal. So some of you might think that it's impossible to do in 7 minutes, but there's no RC. If there's no RC, vocab and grammar based paper है पूरा, so you can easily attempt that. That easily you can do in 7 minutes. So I'm
I
keeping
think
10
there are
minutes as an average time.
max to max, there are 2 or 3 questions that would tempt you. Will it have the, will it have is, whatever. Apart from it, it's just it goes with the flow.
Correct. So order, you have to do couple of mocks because this is one common thing I've heard. जो भी तुम्हारा लास्ट में तुम उठाते हैं ना, उसमें स्कोर हमेशा कम आता है. So you have to give multiple orders. Sometimes start with verbal, sometimes with quant, and check which is the best format, which is suiting you. You have to finalize a format before you go for the exam. Otherwise वहां जाके देखेंगे, unless you are अमीर आदमी लाइक अंतरिक्ष अमीर, जो आता आने दो, पहले मैथ्स आ जाए, लॉजिक आ जाए, जिसको आना आ जाए, तो unless that's a different story. But otherwise, so most of us, it's like I should have a plan first before I go for the exam, because timer is the main thing. Before you understand what is happening, the timer will be up. और क्वेश्चन छूट जाते हैं, आपके कुछ क्वेश्चन छूटे क्या? Because I've seen maths में around 3 to 5 question, logic same 5 to 7 question, verbal 2 to 3 question are very, I not say tough, but are very tricky to solve, time consuming to solve. तो उसके लिए आपने क्या किया था? छोड़ दिया था कि what is your strategy for those questions?
Yes, sir. Talking about that, I think SNAP is a very student-friendly exam. So whenever we are giving a SNAP examination, it's not about like attempting those 45 to 50 questions, but leaving those 10 to 15 questions. We have to make strategic attempting so that we know ourselves which are those like 10 questions, I'd say, which we should leave, and that we put that 60 minutes to solve that 50 questions. So there will be a time when you have to leave questions like from verbal, logic, LR or quantitative aptitude section, and it's okay. But the matter of the fact is you need to have 90% plus accuracy in the questions in which you are attempting, so as to score like maximize your scores.
Correct, correct. So you have to finalize your strategy before you go for the exam, and it will take around 6-8 mocks to finalize your strategy and a timer for every section, and then record your marks. So यार मैं तो बोलता हूँ यार अगर आपने टेबल भर दिया, that is more than enough. 20 marks along with the last year ka papers. I am strong believer of being an engineer. I passed my 4 years of engineering only by studying last year ka papers. So I always recommend that. And if you go to our site, snapking.in, you can find all the actual papers here, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, the first link, actual papers. So please start. You can give it a topic wise or you can give it a year wise, all depend upon you. तो अगर आप कर सकते हो तो please do that because that's very important part of the snap. So I have a few questions coming up as well. So Tarun, when you guys started preparing for the exam, so CAT दिया था, CAT के साथ किया मैंने. So what was your strategy?
Yeah. So I think I can go ahead, and then Antriskh, should you continue then after that? Yeah, sure. So for me, sir, I think I was also working side by side. So I started preparing for Snap, like side by side for CAT also. I started in around June. And for the mocks, I started around like mid-September. I started giving mocks. As I said, like I gave 20-25 odd mocks. I used to give mocks like one in like 2 to 3 days. So that was my strategy, which I followed. And I think yeah, I did pretty well for that.
Yeah, so for me as well, so I was also working side by side. So my time used to be, late at night, and generally I for Snap, I really focused on the mocks that I gave, and also the topics that I had not studied, like clocks, right, like calendar, and so I took maybe a couple of days to just sort of go through them first and have that first impression of those topics, and then just utilize them in sectional mocks. Also, sectional mocks was something that I really used, right? So apart, like English, as I just said, right? So it used to happen in 6-7 minutes. Sometimes the difficulty used to vary. Sometimes I used to maybe try to get just too fast with the English thing, and then the marks used to vary. But mostly in terms of time, I had to manage in my quants. So I used to give a lot of sectional mocks as well. And in 20 minutes, you could give 2-3, and you're still fresh, right?
Correct.
Because one sitting, you just sit for 20 minutes and you're done. So it was more about that for me. Yes.
Correct. Next question is, did you give any other exams apart from the Symbi exam?
Yes, sir. I gave like the CAT examination, SNAP examination, both of them, and like after that, like I chose like SMHRD.
Same for me as well. I gave CAT, SNAP. I also gave the ZAT exams. Yes.
Perfect. So if we talk about the overall sectional cutoff, and then there's no section cutoff, score versus percentile. Next is let's go topic by topic. So this is my breakup. क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग भर भर के आता है यार, ये पता नहीं क्यों प्यार हो गया सबको, हर एग्जाम को भी. एनमेट ले लो, कैट ले लो, सीटी ले लो, देयर आर ऑलवेज 8 to 10 क्वेश्चन बेस्ड ऑन क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग. अगेन द पैटर्न विल चेंज फ्रॉम क्वेश्चन टू क्वेश्चन. लॉजिक 10 एंड पजल 1 or 2 सिंगल क्वेश्चन. So this is the logic section. Quant arithmetic 8 question. Every other topic 8 question, and non-maths DI, DS, data sufficiency combined 4 question, 20 marks. And grammar, vocab, reading. Reading wale there are only 2 questions. 6 question grammar, 7 question vocab. This again will change from year to year, attempt to attempt. But this is a mota. I can see the breakup. So if we go section wise, what was your weakest area and how you prepare? For example, Omjan has this question: how to prepare for the logic section so that I can maximize my marks out of 25.
Yes, sir. So for that, to answer Om, I think for logical reasoning section, the best thing you can do is practice. For me, it was one of my strongest section, and as I said, like I gave full length mocks and also sectional mocks. I used to practice more, like all the series, clocks, calendar question used to be on the tips of my like fingers. So I used to practice a lot, and that is the way you built your speed. Snap is one examination in which speed is also important along with your accuracy. So that is something I'd suggest to Om. And regarding the section in which the topics in which I was confident more, or in certain topics I was not that confident. So if I take an example of the quant section, arithmetic was an area in which I was really confident. But on the other hand, algebra was an area in which I was not that confident. Similarly, like for Antriksh, vocab or the general English section was something in which he was really confident. But I was not that confident in that section. Like as you said, if one RC came or something like that, I used to take some more minutes to solve that thing. So yeah, it depends from person to person, and accordingly you should develop your own strategy, and that comes only by like practicing as many mocks as you can.
Correct. So I'll ask you this question. You twice you have said algebra was one of your weakest areas. So वहां पे आपने तुक्के लगाए थे ऑप्शन यूज करके जय माता दी जो अच्छा लग रहा है मार्क कर दो. Did you do that और कि नहीं ईमानदारी से
Again,
जितना?
again on that topic, I can say, sir, SNAP is an examination which gives you a chance to make smart guesses, sir. Plus one for
Yes.
the correct and minus 0.25 for the wrong answer. So yeah, I made smart guesses, sir. I did not lie here, but yeah, again, I picked all those algebra questions in which I was like I practiced all those questions, only those which I can solve in like 2 to 3 minutes, not those which I cannot only solve. Like no point of picking up those questions and wasting like 2 to 3 minutes in my examination. So yeah, I made some smart guesses, and I think I got that right.
Correct, correct. Antrish will come to you now. So before I go to that, I have a couple of questions from Avni. How to practice that? We picked up that question. Critical reasoning, arithmetic. यार आप जी स्ट्रेटजी प्रोग्राम ज्वाइन कर लो. वोकेबलरी हर चीज का दैट वी विल टेकिंग केयर ऑफ बिकॉज हर चीज के शॉर्टकट्स है. यू कैन नॉट क्रैक द स्नैप एग्जाम इफ यू गो बाय द लॉन्ग कट. You have to guess a few questions in a smart way. Use option, optimize your score, optimize your time, because that is going to the main problem which everyone will face when they giving the exam. So we have a question regarding the syllabus of the exam. So I'm going to a link. There's a link for syllabus. So this is the syllabus for the exam. अर्थमेटिक में क्या टॉपिक है? प्रॉफिट लॉस, रेशियो प्रपोर्शन, मिक्सचर्स, परसेंटेजेस एंड सिंपल इंटरेस्ट, कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट. So these are the 5 topics you have to prepare. So Mr. Pao, the guy I've named is Pao. So yeah, so Mr. Pao, you have to do all these topics. So Antrish, coming to your strategy, what was the strongest area, what was the weakest area, and how you improve that?
So logical reasoning for me was a bit tricky because yes, so across all the management exams that I gave, it used to get me in a muddle. So that was that. In terms of English, how I just talked, English was fine, right? English was fine, and then in quants, as for almost everyone, arithmetic was something that I really focused on. But one thing that I really I'd like to propagate as well with arithmetic. What happens is, sir, that a lot of the questions that come might seem easy. But the thing is, when you put yourself in the pressure of an examination, so that's why I advise, give every mock like it's your last, like it's the final exam that you're going to give. Because a lot of times what happens with arithmetic is, although it looks very easy and you might end up solving, but the trick here is to solve it under 60 seconds. So once I, got the hang of solving it under 60 or under 90 seconds, my aim always with arithmetic was that if I have 8 arithmetic questions, I would want to solve it in 5 to 6 minutes. Like there were some questions that I did not require picking up a pen for. And that is not to just flex here. It's more to tell that there will be questions that will leave you a bit divulged. And if you save 30 seconds each and every, so recognizing your strengths and weaknesses. In your weaknesses, you have to recognize, is it coverable in the next 15, 20 days? If yes, go for it. If it's not, be true to yourself and it's not a big portion of your syllabus, leave it. Be true to yourself and leave it. Right. And in terms of strengths, keep polishing those strengths so that if you're taking 2 minutes, 10, 100, 90 seconds, 60, 30, try to bring it as down as possible. Because once you do that, especially in a 60-minute exam, every 10, 15, 20 seconds count. So that was my strategy. Yes.
Correct. So last 2 questions remaining from my side, and then I'll open the mic for you and students to interact. So my next question is one golden advice जो आपने किया या आप करना चाहते थे पर नहीं कर पाए. Fine. For example, if you ask me, one tip if I want to give you is ability to manage time, because timer is the main thing. And कभी कभी होता है कि a lot of us are not comfortable with the timer clicking next to you. CAT, and to immediately move from CAT to the non-CAT exam. CAT में we got 3 minutes per question. बहुत time आराम से बैठ के solve कर सकते हो. Either 60 seconds per question. Read and mark in 60 seconds. So what would be your one advice?
So for that, I think I've already said, and I'll just reiterate the point. Like you should have your time management skills and you should do mock intensive practice. These are the two things which I would stress upon to ace snap examination. Not only snap, to ace any examination you need to have these two skills. That is, like, firstly the time management skill, and secondly you need to give as many mocks as you can so as to be in the right frame of time and mind when you appear for that examination.
Correct. Correct. Antriksh, what about you? One advice, one single line.
I'd say do your reasoning well. That will be my advice. Start it early, and yes, just do your reasoning well and keep your concepts clear. Yes.
Superb. So my side, one question. I do logic before quant. I take more time. What to do? यार improve करना पड़ेगा. Speed के बिना आप नहीं survive कर पाओगे in any of the exams, in fact. So what is your advice on that?
Yeah, so similar advice, like anything we want to improve, like it also happens, like I may be good in like the LR section, or Antriksh might be good in the general needs section, something like that. Some are our strength and some are our weakness, but there is a gray area always, and in that we can only improve by practicing as much as we can, as you said. So yeah, I'd suggest the same thing, like practice as much as you can, and like there when you give a mock, there are certain points in, like, you make silly mistakes over there, so that can be improved in the next mock. But there are areas in which, like, you don't even know the topic or you have forgotten the topic. For that you need to again go revisit the topic, study it, and then attempt the next mock. Then only the score will improve. Otherwise there is no point of giving another mock. So yeah, like, give the mock, and analyzing it is as important as like giving the mock.
Superb. So guys, from my point of view, if I summarize this sheet in general, keep the eyes on the cutoff because you have to target high. So 20, 30, 40, 45 gradually will grow. रातों-रात improvement नहीं आएगा. You can't expect 40 mark in the first mock unless you're a topper. Mock strategy, very important. Time scales, all of you have talked about that. Shortcuts are required because the syllabus point of view requires speed. So you have to speed up everything. And of course, you have to give as many mocks as possible. So 20 mocks is the minimum threshold mark. और आराम से होगा. CAT का every mock is putting you down. जबकि सिंपली का every mock give you motivation, tell you a lot of improvements कि यार मैं ये कर सकता था, वो कर सकता था. So if you can cover up these things, you can score well आराम से in the exam. All right.